Well, it's time to bring all this up. People have been asking me for far too long if the Bite of 87 is Five Nights at Freddy's related in any way, shape, or form. Because we have these performing robot animals, one of which the vixen is a pirate, which is close to Foxy the pirate, except for the gender. Some say this is your own creation because there's new animatronics and similar, but then again, at the same time, different storyline. I'm here to tell you, Foxy and his Fantastic Pizza World childhood series, Foxy and Friends, the Bite 7, whatever you want to call them, all of them are my own stories. True, I mean, it was the first time I wrote it was 2015, and Five Nights at Freddy's came out I think in 2014. The first game did. So yeah, I took Foxina, the pirate vixen, and the robotic animatronics from the game, but that's it. The names are different, and their positions are also different. In fact, you probably heard of Fright Night. Just one of the Fright Nights. Rachel the Wolf was actually originally known as Roxanne Wolf. Sorry, I'm getting my blanket on there. I'm cold. Roxanne and Rachel are different. They were different characters. Roxanne was supposed to be Wolfie's sister. Rachel was Wolfie's cousin or friend. But yeah, Roxanne was originally my story because I wrote my version of Roxanne in 2015 and then posted it later on. Because I wrote the stories and then posted them. Some of them were even decades later. Oh, okay, not quite decades. Dashie probably, Dashie was a decade. Lost Wolf Pub was probably a decade too. Yeah, I'll go with that. However, they've been asking my stories. A lot of people said, well, the reason why I'm wondering because in Five Nights at Freddy's there's these missing kids that are said to die and then put in animatronic suits, which I want to say I think that's false on the account that the animatronics don't have the kids inside them when you work on them, which means no, the kids were not put into animatronic suits or something like that. Some asked if I made it from Willy's Wonderland, where the souls of the kids or people found their ways into the suit through some dark ceremony or whatever. No. I would not add anything like that in my stories about dark ceremonies and blah, blah, blah. The closest thing you'll get to that is Human and the Hellhound, and that one's just supposed to be a funny story and nothing dark within it. I'm trying to find a remote, I don't know where it's at. Darn it. Anyway. So you're probably wondering, well, why do the animatronics move? Why do they have a mind of their own? What's the point? How does this happen? It doesn't make sense. And my answer to you is this. Really? Does kids taking over a robotic suit make sense to you? Is that what you want in my story? Because you're not going to get it. Sit down. Alright, I'm going to tell you guys. Right? In my stories, especially that one, the animatronics are not possessed. They are highly upgraded in the story, and their sole purpose is to protect people and kids. That was their programming. What the manufacturer wanted was them to see every kid and every adult as a friend or family member. My cat, right there, Misty, gave it her meows approval. And also would sit there and suffer to listen to the whole thing. So, and she doesn't suffer. She's like something, she'll leave and take a nap somewhere. There, she laid there, listened to the story, and only after, I repeat, only after the story is over did she go to sleep. But I don't add dark things in my stories. I admit some of my stories can get a little... Okay, let's face it, some of my stories get dark. But not that dark. When I say dark, I mean like, oh, you got me there. Kind of dark. Spooky, scary. But not evil, demonic, or anything like that. My stories don't get like that. I am a Christian. I do not want my stories to get dark like that. So no. No dark ceremonies, no kids getting their bodies possessed into suits. Granted, a Christian made that theory too, but still. But that leads us to other questions that people wonder about Foxina's fantastic world and some other of my stories. We're going to cover... Actually, I can't see my face. Whatever. We're going to cover 3 of my most famous stories. Foxina's Fantastic Beach World. That's 1. Second is going to be my story, Tony, which I know a few of you are like, yes! And of course, my favorite, Dashi. And some of you are like, yes, or if you're going, watch it. That is my daughter in the House of Madness. So, this is how the original story of Foxina went, okay? The beginning of Foxina. But I cut it out because I didn't want people to mistake it for Five Nights at Freddy's. And they did either way. So what the heck? Mike went into the pizzeria. And Foxy saw him, smiled, and waved. Mike ran off crying. Foxy followed him and said, Foxy. Foxina. I don't know why I said Foxy. Foxina said, sorry, lad. I didn't mean to be scaring you. My name would be Foxy the Pirate Vixen. Now, why don't you tell me your name? Mike replied, my name's Mike. Are you really a pirate? That I am, lad. That I am. Would you like to have me adventures? I sailed the southern seas searching for treasure, fought off the infamous Blackbeard, and trounced by the tyrant's call, and saw many beautiful day amongst my ship of the White Fox. And so on and so forth. Eventually he meets the friends, Wolfie the Wolf, Chelsea the Turtle, and Dustin the Rock and Roll drumming back. Well, when he meets Wolfie said, you must be special to get old Foxine to carry you around like that. I don't even call her ever carrying a child around on the fact that she hates to be touched. That be true, Wolfie. I never felt a bond as close as this one. Well, little buddy, if you have any questions, you go ahead and ask. And that's the beginning of when the story... That's when I cut. That part, and the part I'm about to tell you was all cut. This is what they said in the hidden version. Is it true that people, men, women, and children have gone missing here? Wolfie looked at his friends and said, yes, son, it's true. Is it true they were murdered? and now they possess the suits? What? Oh, no, they got missing. We never found them, and they're definitely not in us. We can assure you of that, which is true. In fact, if you look at the blueprints, there's really no room for human bodies to begin with. So you know from that fact, and if you see the doodles, that there is no bodies inside the suits. Alright? So Foxina is my own story. 2. Tony's Valentine's. Or Tony in general. And I said Valentine's. Sorry. And Tony's Valentine's. Tony's stories. I wrote that back in the days of when I was dead sure and set to become a furry. Or at least I was a furry wannabe then. So, I wrote a story about Echo, the black vixen with red hair and a reddish tail. And then Tony, the wolf, brown, black, white, and gray. It took place in a universe where all the people were not humans. They were anthropomorphic, which means animals with human characteristics. I can name off so you guys get the idea of anthropomorphic. Lion King, Zootopia, Star Fox, the classic Robin Hood from Disney. I guess Marmaduke can count as one of those. Mickey Mouse, Disney movies with animals talking, Lady and the Tramp, all that will be considered anthropomorphic or anthropomorphy, which is animals with animals that have human characteristics and human traits such as walking on hind legs, bodies that resemble more towards humans, and so on and so forth. Which is all a furry really is someone who's a fan of anthropomorphic animals. So, a fursuit doesn't make you a furry. You can draw pictures of anthropomorphic animals, be a fan of the movies, that's really what a furry is. And a lot of what's online is false. I talked to one of my furry friends, and I asked them about, hey, I hear that the schools are planning on putting litter boxes for those who believe they're animal cats. She said, no, that's actually made by a gamer during the TikTok war between furries and gamers. They're doing that to kind of try to end the fandom. That's false. I asked if there are ones that do things with animals they shouldn't. They said, no, that's actually what we call furgets. Not the same as furries. I might have got the name wrong, but furgets is what I call them. They are people who claim to be furries, but all they are people who see animals as attractive, which is wrong. Says that furries actually will beat up furgets if they find them, because their one belief is to make sure that animals are protected and treated fairly and nice, not in a bad way. We care about our animals, in other words, is what she said. Believing that they're animals, no. They have a different name that's not furgets, but similar, but they're not considered furries. I mean, yeah, they have a fursuit, but they're not considered furries. Furries have fursuits because they have, like, their own animal that they like, and they use to go to conventions and to perform and have fun. That's fine, but not to believe that they're animals. That's not a furry, that's someone else. Another fandom. Similar fandom, but different fandom. Not the one, no. And finally, my favorite, Milo Dashi. People have been asking me if Milo Dashi is a My Little Pony fanfiction or a copyright written fanfiction, because there is actually a YouTube video called Milo Dashi. No. Milo Dashi, yes, the name was inspired, but her name was Dashi because I thought saying My Little Lightning Lacey didn't roll off the tongue quite as well. Her name was Lightning Lacey, and I changed her name to Dashi because she could run faster than lightning. Dashi would also mean that she was very fast. She's a little girl found on a box from a TV show from an alternate universe. Rose by a 25-year-old man named Brian Dash, whose parents died in a car crash. He's depressed and feels like life has nothing for him. He raises her for almost 20 years. She eventually goes back home to her land, and Brian goes to her world. I went through a time of Great Depression myself. In fact, the first line is technically the beginning of my testimony. The daily struggles of my life outnumber the small moments of joy. My love pony and kid shows has helped, but the feeling it gives me is fleeting and is gone in seconds. I live my day, every day at a time. Most of the days are uneventful. Every here and there something new and exciting will happen. I'll find $1 on the ground. I'll meet an old friend. I'll be chased by a stray dog. But most of my days are uneventful. I walked to work. It was the same crap. People came in, got the things, and left. My life has fallen to a routine. Wake up. Go to work. Take a lunch break. Go to work again. Get off work. Go home. Take a shower. Play video games. Watch television shows, usually cartoons of anthropomorphic animals, and then just bum around until it's time to go to bed. Repeat. Until today. Now this is the part where I said my life could change if this happened to me. When I saw a small box on the side of the road. And I wrote Dashi in such a beautiful way that for a short time I dreamed about her. And I'm ashamed to admit that a few times I wondered if it was real. Because if I could bring her life and her story, if I could make it real to me, then I can make it real to everyone. So that's what I did with Milo Dashi. I wrote her in such a way where I believe she was real. In fact, one night I even called for her. I forget what happened, but it was something I was happy and excited about. So I said, Dashi, hey Dashi, come look. Now it didn't help that I recorded like a line of Dashi stories where technically those stories can actually suck you in and make you feel like you're part of the story. I put so much extra hard work into Dashi. More than Tony, more than Foxina, and all my other stories ever combined. I put more effort and heart into those stories. And the one who inspired me was my beagle Penny. She passed away. I got her cremated. She's actually in a box in my room right now. She was the entire inspiration of Dashi. In fact, when she died, I planned to stop doing Dashi forever. But then I realized something. In fact, the extended edition of Dashi, the first one, wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. And for me carrying on. She died before that was posted. My dog done so much for me. Mentally, emotionally, that I had to make her remember live on as Dashi. I want a drink, hold on. Sorry. She inspired me so much. And none of you would ever know just what her memory means to me. She was the heart and soul. When I was a kid, I was going to move her in with me. I have a cat right now. My cat's on here. It's keeping me going through the dark times. I'm depressed, it's true. my cats keep me going, I'd be going to the same thing. So I continue doing Dashi because that reminds me of her. She done so much for me in my life. I couldn't ever possibly thank Penny for it all. I think my parents forget her for me. She brought me so much joy in my life. I love her so much. It made me feel like I lost my daughter when she died. I loved her. I loved her so much. And even now, I can't believe she's dead. Even me, guys. Sorry. I'm gonna try to get through this before I break down. Anyway, that's all I'm gonna say about Dashi before I break down. As of right now, the madness has ended on my podcast. I can't get into it right now, so until something changes, I won't be able to get into the podcast. And if I can't get back into it, I'll just start up a new podcast and pick up where we took off. Okay? Tell your friends to watch my YouTube, and once if I do end up starting a new channel, to pick up where we left off, I will announce it on here, so you all can watch it, my podcast, on the new one. Moonlight Madness is the one this is right now, and I'll figure out something to call a new one if I can't get my old podcast back. Well, I think we should be able to. There's a website I can go to and contact. It'll take me some time though. Until then, I'm planning on doing a little bit more YouTube for you guys. Right. Also, I want you guys to, you can hear my old videos. I won't be able to. I won't get the number out, but I'm gonna try to get the business out before I break down again. Call the number. You can get the number. I think a few of my other videos of Queen C Strips and Door Service. You look at the other videos at the end, and you can get their phone number out there. I found the card with me, and I'm about to break down again. So please call them, and they still call itself Queen, but they do job service that's fit for a king. Garage door services in heaven aren't as good as Queen C Strips and Door. I speak from experience. I used to work for them. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please punch the button. Fist like boss. As always, high fives all around. Of course, if you're more visit me, do not worry because I'm calling for the fiction addiction. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye. And how? Thank you for watching this, everyone. And good night. And of course, look into the shadows because this was a strange one. And remember, guys, keep your eyes peeled out there because madness never ends. Thank you for watching, everyone. And good night.